I'm Jim Collison. We are live from Infotec 2014, and we've been doing interviews all day. We're here at the end of the day, and I'm here with my good friend Mark Floersch. Mark and I have known each other for a lot of years. I'm thinking we go back 8, maybe?
Yeah, probably at least
9?
maybe 10.
Because it was before you and I, we did the Crystal user group together, right?
Right.
At some point?
Yeah.
So it goes back even farther than that, so a decade, and Mark is here at the conference. You've got some things that you're speaking on here as well, right?
Yep.
Coming up.
New company.
Yeah.
New company name.
Let's talk a little bit about that,
Sure.
because PeopleServices has been an Omaha staple for a lot of years.
14 years.
14 years,
Yep.
and now a name change. So why the change?
Change is because we've decided to focus differently. We kind of have been focusing and changed our direction, I would say, about 5 years ago, and our focus is really more on business intelligence. So our name really didn't change when it should have. We should have probably done our name change about 5 years ago. But
It's hard to unwind all that name stuff.
It is,
isn't it?
and it's expensive.
Yeah.
So we engaged a firm called Turnpost to help us through our branding and rebranding process. First step in that process was changing the name to Catch Intelligence, which the name says what we do. We help customers catch information and deliver it to the right people and make the right decisions. Our logo is awesome. It represents a strike zone with data in the middle, the right data that the customers need to make decisions. And then our tagline is Lead by Knowing. So we help customers lead their department, lead their division, lead their organization, just like you do.
Yeah. Well,
lead their industry.
Back when you and I were doing work together, we did that around a lot of business objects, and there's been some changes in the industry, in the BI world. What changes have you seen over the last? And I haven't followed the industry in a while.
Yeah.
So what changes have gone on there for you guys?
Well, I think there's lots of changes, and I think the thing that we find consistent is that customers think they can buy a software product and it's the answer to the business intelligence problem. You and I both know, and being in this space for a long time, it's more about people and process, data architecture and data governance and data challenges than it is about the technology. So what we help customers do, and actually the first session that we speaking at this morning was the success factors, and it's something that's about failure, but I shared some stories about the failures, and one of the big failures is the feeling that you can just buy a software product and it's going to solve the problem, and it doesn't. It's a strategic direction where you have to look at 5 or 6 different core things beyond technology to deliver an effective BI system.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those. Let's go back through that. Data governance, right?
Data governance.
And then what else? What are the other considerations there?
People, the right people, process, practices, technology, data governance, and data architecture.
Yeah. What about data quality?
Well, data quality is kind of part of data governance.
Okay.
So if we have good data governance in place, what we're trying to do with data quality and with data governance is engage the business community, taking an ownership stake, and engaging data stewards on the business side to say, hey, solving this problem is not just a technology problem, it's not just my DBA's responsibility. If I want to have good quality data, I, on the business side, need to have resources to apply to it and people to apply to making sure the data comes in correctly in the first place. So the reporting tools are going to show what they show, and if it's bad data, it's going to show bad data. So it's really, data governance is all about a collaborative framework and structure, and engaging the business to take an ownership stake and make sure the data is clean.
Yeah. Let's talk about the status of business intelligence, because it was the buzzword 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about it. It's been kind of replaced, this buzzword was, kind of replaced with big data and some of those other pieces. But what is the status of business intelligence now, and who's left? Because I know there was some consolidation going on in that industry.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be new names for all this stuff. It's when we talk about cloud business intelligence, we talk about big data. It's stuff that we've been doing for the last 10 years. It's just that people are branding it something different. But I find it comical. My data warehouse guys kind of find it comical. But there are some new things that are really, in some areas, transforming business intelligence. With some of the Hadoop capabilities, and a lot of people asking about Hadoop and where it fits, and it doesn't fit all. It doesn't fit everybody, but it has its home and its place. So does in-memory business intelligence. So do the data warehouse appliances. I think probably the big challenge that we see, just like the software scenario that I talked about, we see a lot of customers going out and buying these data warehouse appliances, and the sales guys tell them that this stuff will solves world peace, right? Well, it's just a data warehouse appliance, so it's not going to replace your data warehouse. It's going to augment and support where you're going and where you want to do. So some of it is just about educating people and helping them feel comfortable with it, and also softening some of the sales speak that sometimes some of the salespeople don't know what they're selling. But help them make sure that you're not overselling whatever it is you're trying to sell or position. And selecting from a customer perspective, selecting the right solutions to solve the right problems.
Yeah. At a conference like this, here 2014, a lot of mobile discussions, a lot of big data discussions. Is there still a lot of BI being talked about? Is that still going on?
There still is, but there's also, predictive is another area that people are talking a lot, spending a lot of time talking about predictive because, I think people are thinking, BI is kind of old school. But
that's so funny.
I know it is, isn't it?
Old school.
But the reality still is, if you look at Gartner and Forrester and some of the leading analysts, still the number one priority for CIOs is fixing the data, the business intelligence problem. Some of it has to do with the business intelligence tools. Some of it has to do with the data problem. Some of it has to do with data quality. But the pressure is coming from the business for the CIOs to deliver better information to the right people. That pressure has been there for 10 years. Just that the pressure is on to deliver.
Yeah.
And I'd say the pressure is on too if you don't deliver. We have a customer in Kansas City that they didn't deliver, and guess what? That CIO doesn't have a job anymore.
Right.
So those are challenges, and we don't want to see customers in those scenarios. And when I say, our first session was on BI projects never fail, do they? But we see a lot of them that fail, and they're not good outcomes for some of the people that are involved in those projects.
Right. Generally a large scale, a lot of money goes into this, a lot of work, a lot of time, and then nothing on the backside.
Right. Or you have, you and I have heard this before, a bad experience, and then you go back in to try to help a customer with business intelligence or data warehousing, and you're like, don't ever use the word data warehouse here because it's a bad word.
Yeah.
We have customers that say that all the time. And it's because they had a bad experience 10 years ago.
Yeah, and actually in two places I've worked, both at Commercial Federal, which became Bank of the West, we had a very successful data warehousing initiative that took place. Bank of the West didn't keep it when they bought Commercial Federal, but it actually worked. And then at Gallup, we have a very successful data warehousing initiative there, and so they do work, and they can happen.
Sure.
They do take focus and attention and some work and money to get it all done, but they can be. What kind of trends are you seeing? I've been out of the BI space for a little time now. What kind of trends are you seeing there? Is it the same old, dashboards and scorecarding and those kinds of things? Have we made any progress in those areas, in your opinion?
I'd say there's a few things that we're seeing from a trend point of view. One is when we've looked at business intelligence, it's been predominantly focused on internal information delivery. We're seeing a huge trend where customers deliver information externally, and when we're delivering externally, we have to integrate it into the normal process or work stream and make it really simple for people to come in and consume that data, because we're usually delivering information to customers or suppliers, and they're not as sophisticated of users. So it has to be very simple, very easy to use, very intuitive. So those are things that we're seeing for sure from a trend perspective. We're hearing a lot of talk about big data and in-memory data warehousing. Those are interesting things to take a look at. I'd say getting back to the data warehouse appliance scenarios, those solutions make sense in the right scenarios. So it's just understanding what the needs, use cases, and requirements are for identifying when you do position those solutions.
Yeah. I tell you what's kind of ruined it for everybody is Google and Google Now, right? And so I can get on my phone and log in and get some really interesting information that's buried in my email. I can subscribe to things, and it will remember things like what my route is to work and what I take and such. And so I think people have gotten very used to, or they're getting more used to, having these large data sets, apparently, or this information very, very quickly. It seems like on the business side, though, we never even, or we haven't got to that point. Reports, for the longest time, they took a long time to run. We would have to process cubes overnight. We would have to, right? What changes are you seeing, or is that putting pressure in the BI community to get that instantaneous information?
It is, and that's where the in-memory capabilities kind of come into play, where, when I'm building a query or running a report, I expect real quick response time, like I have seen in Google and what I see in Amazon. The users are driving the experience that they want, and that means that on the data warehousing side, if you want that faster performance in your customers, especially if you're delivering external information to customers, they expect that type of experience. We have to have the right plumbing in place to make sure that the speed is there and the performance is there. In-memory does give you the ability to, put that information, that data in memory, adjust your cubes on the fly, have it be a lot faster. So it does lend itself nicely to what those users are trying to drive for.
The hardware trends have favored getting this data back. I mean, where we've gone completely solid state in a lot of cases, where we are doing in memory. In fact, in some cases, all the data is in memory. I mean, it's complete. It's not going back for anything, which is interesting. And that cost price, the price point has plummeted in that process. And so we've got some other options. What other trends are you seeing? Certainly mobile is everything, right? When you and I worked together 5 or 6 years ago, mobile was kind of a dream. Everybody was, and get it on. Well, we still didn't. I mean, the iPhone was just coming out at that point. And so, what are you seeing from a mobile trend?
For sure. I mean, we're seeing a ton of use of iPads and tablets all over the place in organizations, and one of the key use cases is business intelligence for mobile consumption as well. So we also see, as we look to deliver mobile or we look to deliver BI, that it needs to be available how people want to consume it. Sometimes those people want to consume that information within an application. Sometimes they want to connect to their intranet. Sometimes they want to connect to mobile devices. The reality is you have to deliver it the way they want to consume it. And one customer might want to consume it 3 different ways. That's okay. You just have to have flexibility and framework and architecture to deliver it that way.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about catching intelligence, right? Did I get that right? It's going to take me a while. I've known it as PeopleServices for so long. How many employees do you have now?
About 70 people right now.
Wow, 70.
70, yeah.
So let's see, 5 years ago, maybe how many did you have?
And within the last 5 years, we doubled in size. So we've basically doubled in terms of people and revenue and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, by the way, I think I owe you a ping pong game. Thinking of that, we used to. I think I've been at your house once or twice. We played some ping pong. I haven't done that in a while.
I think you beat me.
Is Mike still hanging around you, or is he?
I haven't seen Mike in a long time.
Mike's sweet, right? Mike's sweet. If you're watching this.
Awesome ping pong.
Love to hear from you, Mike.
Yeah.
I can't believe I actually recalled that name.
I can't believe it either.
Out of the archives.
He had a wicked backhand.
Yeah. Oh, that guy could put the ping pong down. But so congrats, 70 some employees. You're based here in the Omaha.
Based in Omaha.
Area. Doing any work? I assume you do regional stuff as well.
We do. So we have locations in Des Moines, Kansas City, Denver, and right now we're expanding out to Seattle and Portland.
Oh, very nice.
Doing a little bit of work already in Texas and in Georgia, so looking to expand those markets.
You find local folks to be able to fill in those slots for you?
Yeah, we do. It depends. Though, over time, the footprint is always, we're going to basically serve those customers initially remotely out of our Omaha office or one of our other locations. And then as we build the business, we'll hire local talent as the business justifies it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's always a challenge, but based here in Omaha, what I love about this conference is that we get a lot of local talent here, and I don't think people know just what's going on in Omaha. I mean, I think we've got some good stuff going on.
I talk to customers on the East and West Coast, and I kind of tell them, we have kind of a rural shore model. We have people that are good quality people, great values, that live in Omaha, and they're reasonable. So you don't have to pay, the East and West Coast rates for some of those people, which is beneficial to our customers. And as long as our customers get the value and the expertise that they're looking for, they don't care.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's tough to get me out of the Midwest, especially raising kids.
Yeah,
that has been particularly good here. You mentioned Seattle. Now we have a direct flight to Seattle. That's got to help out, right?
Yeah.
Seattle. We
Alaskan Airlines.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I was out there for the Microsoft MVP conference back in November, and I was able to fly back 2 hours 34 minutes from Seattle to Omaha.
That's great.
It's awesome. So you too can get to Seattle. That's kind of a nice. Now if we just had one for San Jose, and I could get back home that way, I always got to fly through Denver or through Las Vegas. So one of your sessions that you already delivered, one of the sessions, you talked a little bit about that. You said you had 2 sessions, and what's the second one on?
The second session was the BI Journey, BI Roadmap session for TSYS Merchant Solutions. So TSYS is a really large credit card processor, one of the largest ones in the United States, and their merchant division engaged us to help them on a project. So we talked about that journey. They engaged us for probably about a 2-year period to help them at different phases as they rolled their system out. It's a relatively new system for them, really transforming the way they're delivering information to their customers. And it was a re-architecture initiative for them, and it was fun for us. It was a great opportunity.
Cool. Yeah, and that's all done and taken care of, closed up?
It went live in February, and everything's gone really well.
Good. They didn't hunt you down, so it must have.
No, they gave us great reviews, which was great, and they shared the reviews.
Good.
The last slide that they shared was their reviews that they gave us, which were all very good.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, it's good to track you down. Great to see you. We actually need to probably run into each other a little more often than Infotec each year.
You're going to have to come down to our booth and have a beer.
You know what? I'm going to come down. Well, I got to run a 10K here in a few minutes, so I will come down to the booth. Mark, if people want to find you, how do they find the new Catch Intelligence? Yeah.
So www.catchintelligence.com is our website address. So head out there and visit
all the contact information out there as well if they want to contact you. And what kind of customers are you seeing the most of? I mean, who's contacting you these days?
Well, our niche, and it's really because what we're focused on. Our niche is probably the Fortune 10,000 customer base. So customers that have usually 1,000 employees and above are really where we're focusing a lot of our time and effort. But that being said, we have a lot of local companies in Omaha that are a lot smaller than that.
Yeah.
We serve and support their needs as well. But our sweet spot really is that the mid-market to upper mid-market customers.
Okay. Very cool. Well, Mark, thanks for taking some time. Good to catch up with you again. We got to do this a little more often.
I agree.
Than right now, and that'll actually end it for the day here, Infotech 2014. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, with I get a full slate tomorrow. We are stacked. I think I have 8 to 10 of these things stacked for tomorrow. So
need more beer at the end of the day.
Tomorrow, definitely some beer at the end of the day. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.